The latest Poliwave seat projections for Atlantic Canada suggest that the Liberal Party remains the dominant force in the region, securing 23 seats. Despite facing some challenges, the Liberals continue to hold strong in their traditional strongholds, including much of Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and Newfoundland and Labrador. Meanwhile, the Conservative Party is projected to win 9 seats, signaling a modest but notable gain. This suggests that the Conservatives are making inroads, particularly in rural areas and pockets of voter dissatisfaction with the current Liberal leadership. This projection highlights the evolving political landscape in Atlantic Canada. While the Liberals still enjoy significant support, any further gains by the Conservatives could indicate a broader national trend. As we move closer to Election Day, all eyes will be on whether the Liberals can maintain their lead or if the Conservatives will continue their upward trajectory. With the election heating up, voter sentiment in Atlantic Canada will be crucial in shaping the overall outcome. Poliwave's latest federal election seat projections, released on March 7, 2025, provide a crucial snapshot of the evolving political landscape in Quebec. The province remains a key battleground with shifting dynamics among the major parties. At the top, the Liberal Party is projected to secure 33 seats, maintaining a strong foothold despite facing increasing competition. Their continued support in urban centers like Montreal and parts of Gatineau has helped them stay ahead. However, their grip on Quebec is not as firm as in previous elections, making their position vulnerable. Close behind, the Bloc Québécois is projected to win 31 seats, reinforcing its role as a dominant voice for Quebec nationalism. With strong support in Francophone regions, the BQ remains a formidable force, challenging the Liberals in several ridings. The Conservative Party has made notable gains, securing 13 seats in the province. Their support is primarily concentrated in rural areas and suburban ridings, where voters resonate with their economic policies and stance on key issues like energy and taxation. While not a dominant player in Quebec, the Conservatives' steady rise suggests a shift in voter sentiment. Meanwhile, the New Democratic Party, NDP, is struggling to maintain relevance in the province, with projections showing them winning just 1 seat. The party, which once had significant support in Quebec, has seen its influence wane in recent years as voters gravitate toward the Bloc or Liberals. With such close numbers between the Liberals and Bloc Québécois, Quebec remains a crucial battleground that could determine the overall outcome of the federal election. As the campaign progresses, the fight for key ridings will intensify, making every seat count. Poliwave's latest federal election seat projections for Ontario, as of March 7, 2025, reveal a significant political shift in Canada's most populous province. The Conservative Party is leading the race with 64 seats, making substantial gains and positioning itself as the dominant force in Ontario. Their success is largely driven by strong support in suburban and rural regions, particularly in the Greater Toronto Area's outer suburbs, as well as central and southwestern Ontario. Their campaign, focused on economic concerns, affordability, and tax relief, seems to be resonating with voters. The Liberal Party, which has traditionally relied on Ontario as its stronghold, is now projected to win 54 seats, while still maintaining significant influence in urban centers like Toronto and Ottawa. Their grip on key battleground ridings appears to be weakening. The loss of seats to the Conservatives indicates growing dissatisfaction among voters, possibly due to economic concerns and policy debates that have shaped this election cycle. The New Democratic Party, NDP, is projected to secure only 3 seats, a disappointing performance for a party that has historically had strong pockets of support in urban areas like Hamilton and Toronto's downtown core. This decline suggests that left-leaning voters may be shifting towards the Liberals or Greens in certain ridings. Meanwhile, the Green Party is projected to win 1 seat, a small but significant achievement that highlights a growing environmental awareness among voters in select regions. With Ontario holding the largest share of parliamentary seats in Canada, these numbers indicate a highly competitive election. The battle between the Conservatives and Liberals in key ridings will be critical in shaping the overall outcome of the federal race. As the campaign continues, all parties will be fighting hard to secure every possible seat in this pivotal province. Poliwave's latest federal election seat projections for the Prairie provinces, covering Manitoba and Saskatchewan, show a continued stronghold for the Conservatives, but with notable competition from the Liberals and NDP in certain regions. The Conservative Party remains dominant, projected to win 19 seats. Their support is deeply rooted in rural areas and small towns, where voters favor their policies on energy, agriculture, and economic growth. In provinces like Saskatchewan and Alberta, the Conservatives continue to enjoy overwhelming backing, reinforcing their traditional base. The Liberal Party, while far behind, is projected to secure 7 seats. Their support is concentrated in urban centers like Winnipeg, Regina, and parts of Calgary, where progressive policies on healthcare, climate change, and social programs still resonate with segments of the electorate. However, they face strong resistance in rural and resource-rich areas. The New Democratic Party, NDP, is projected to win 2 seats, reflecting a decline in their influence across the prairies. Once competitive in parts of Manitoba and Saskatchewan, the NDP is struggling to hold on to traditional working-class support as the Liberals and Conservatives capture voter attention. Their remaining seats are likely in key urban pockets where labor unions and progressive movements still have a presence. With the Conservatives maintaining a dominant lead, the prairies are expected to remain a stronghold for right-leaning politics. However, urban battlegrounds could still see shifts as the campaign unfolds, especially if the Liberals or NDP make strategic moves to appeal to undecided voters. Poliwave's latest federal election seat projections for Alberta, as of March 7, 2025, confirm the province's reputation as a conservative stronghold, while highlighting small but notable gains for other parties. The Conservative Party continues to dominate, projected to win 33 seats out of Alberta's total. With strong backing in both rural and suburban areas, Conservatives remain the overwhelming choice for voters prioritizing issues like energy, resource development, tax cuts, and economic growth. Their steadfast opposition to federal carbon policies and emphasis on provincial autonomy continue to resonate deeply with Albertans. The Liberal Party is expected to win 3 seats, primarily in urban ridings in Calgary and Edmonton, where progressive policies on climate action, social programs, and infrastructure investment have found some support. However, their influence remains marginal compared to the Conservatives. The New Democratic Party, NDP, is projected to secure just 1 seat, likely in Edmonton, where labor movements, young voters, and progressive policies have traditionally helped the party maintain a foothold. Despite this, the NDP struggles to expand its base beyond these select urban areas. With the Conservatives in firm control of Alberta, the province is expected to play a crucial role in strengthening the party's national seat count. However, the presence of Liberal and NDP pockets in key urban ridings suggests that Alberta's political landscape, while still overwhelmingly conservative, may not be entirely uniform across the province. Poliwave's latest federal election seat projections for British Columbia as of March 7, 2025, reveal a competitive and diverse political landscape, with all 4 major parties securing representation in the province. The Conservative Party is leading with 23 seats, making significant gains in interior and rural regions where concerns about economic policies, energy development, and affordability have driven voter support. The Conservatives are also making inroads in some suburban areas, challenging the traditional Liberal and NDP strongholds. The Liberal Party follows with 15 seats, maintaining a strong presence in Metro Vancouver and other urban centers. Their support comes from voters who prioritize policies on climate action, housing affordability, and infrastructure investments. However, their seat count reflects a more competitive environment, as both the Conservatives and NDP continue to challenge them in key ridings. The New Democratic Party, NDP, is projected to win 4 seats, marking a decline from previous elections. Historically strong in Vancouver Island and parts of the Lower Mainland, the NDP is facing pressure from both the Liberals and Greens in progressive-leaning districts, as well as from the Conservatives in working-class areas where economic concerns dominate. The Green Party is projected to secure 1 seat, likely in Vancouver Island, where environmental issues and climate-conscious voters continue to support the party's vision. While their overall seat count remains low, their influence in specific regions keeps them a relevant force in British Columbia's political scene, with British Columbia being one of Canada's most politically diverse provinces. The battle for key ridings remains intense. The province's mix of urban progressivism, rural conservatism, and environmental activism makes it a critical battleground that could influence the overall federal election outcome. Poliwave's latest national federal election seat projections as of March 7, 2025, paint a picture of a highly competitive race, with the Conservatives leading but still short of a majority. The Conservative Party is projected to win 162 seats, placing them in a strong position to form the next government. Their dominance in the Prairies, Alberta, and much of Ontario has given them the edge, with growing support in key suburban and rural ridings. However, they remain 8 seats short of the 170 needed for a majority, meaning they may need to seek support from other parties in a minority government scenario. The Liberal Party is holding on to 136 seats, maintaining a significant presence, particularly in Quebec, Ontario, and urban centers across Canada. While trailing behind the Conservatives, the Liberals remain competitive, and their ability to negotiate alliances could still shape the next government's leadership. The Bloc Québécois is projected to secure 31 seats, reinforcing their role as a major force in Quebec politics. Their nationalist platform continues to attract voters looking for stronger provincial autonomy and a Quebec-first approach to governance. While their influence is limited outside Quebec, their presence in Parliament could be crucial in a minority government scenario. The New Democratic Party, NDP, faces a disappointing result, with just 12 seats, marking a decline in their national influence. Once a strong progressive alternative, the NDP is struggling to hold on to its core support, especially in provinces like British Columbia and Ontario, where the Liberals and Greens are absorbing some of their base. The Green Party is projected to win 2 seats, showing small but persistent support, likely in British Columbia or regions with a strong environmental voter base. While their seat count remains low, they continue to be a factor in close races where climate-conscious policies play a key role. With no party securing a majority, Canada is heading toward a high-stakes minority government. The final outcome will depend on post-election negotiations, alliances, and the willingness of smaller parties to collaborate. As election day approaches, all parties will be working hard to secure every last seat in this close and unpredictable race.